In September of 2022, Ubisoft revealed a new project set to be released in the coming years, known as Codename Red. At the time, there was very limited information about this title, but as of right now, we have had almost a year of leaks, and we're really starting to understand what this new title is going to be about. In this video, we'll break down everything that we know about Codename Red so far, and you'll want to stick around because when I say this will probably be the most anticipated Assassin's Creed ever, I'm not exaggerating. So let's take a look. Perhaps the most important aspect of any Assassin's Creed game is the setting, and from the looks of things, Red is not going to disappoint here. The trailer confirmed that Red will be set in ancient Japan. This is a setting that pretty much every AC fan has wanted to see since the first game came out in 2007, so to see that Ubisoft is finally exploring Japan, in my opinion, is very exciting. And we also know that Red will be an RPG-styled game, which will give players plenty of opportunities to explore the intricacies of feudal Japan. Aside from this, we don't know too much about the setting, so we'll have to wait for more leaks to find out more about this. But that's about the setting, so what about the characters? So interestingly, Codename Red will actually give players a choice of two characters. This is something that Ubisoft has explored in a few titles, notably Syndicate, Origins, and Valhalla. But it looks like the company is taking this idea to a whole new level in Red. The first playable character is a female samurai, while the other character is a shinobi who joined the Brotherhood as an African refugee. Aside from this, we really don't know very much. Hopefully in the coming months we'll find out if these characters can be used interchangeably or if they're locked to specific missions, and if the character types are gender specific. What's also interesting is that Ubisoft has clearly done its homework with the character choices. Typically, samurai came from noble households and shinobis were of lower class, so it makes sense that the refugee is the shinobi in Red. With the characters squared away, let's talk about the genre a little bit. We also know that Red will be a flagship open-world RPG. While OG fans may not appreciate the open-world format, this is great news if you're newer to the franchise. And personally, I can't wait to run around the rooftops of Japan and explore everything the ancient city has to offer. We've been waiting for years for this after all. But here's something interesting. On the topic of RPGs, there have been a few leaks suggesting that Red will be the last Assassin's Creed to follow the RPG format. One of these leaks came from a very reputable source, John Harker, who recently tweeted that Codename Red will be the last of the Origins formula. Now, if this is true, Codename Red is going to completely divide the fans of the franchise. We've already seen two camps of players forming, those who like the RPG format and those who despise it. Should Red be the last of its kind, these camps are just going to become even more polarized. For players who have been waiting for this title for 10 plus years, this controversy is very frustrating. Instead of focusing on the setting and mechanics, all people are going to be talking about is whether Red will be the last RPG in the franchise. If it is, the newer fans are going to be annoyed. If it isn't, the OG fans are going to be annoyed. Of course, this is a bigger problem with the franchise as a whole, but still, Red probably isn't going to get the praise it deserves, no matter how good it is, because everyone will be more focused on the future of Assassin's Creed. And of course, these are all rumors, so I suggest you take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. But should these rumors be true, Codename Red may leave a bittersweet taste in players' mouths, especially those newer to the franchise. Now, when Red does come out, you're going to want to play it all night for a week straight, right? Well, you would if you could stay focused and awake enough to keep playing. If you do struggle with maintaining energy and focus when gaming like me, then I'd love to introduce you to Rogue Energy. Rogue isn't your typical energy drink company. No, they are designed specifically for gamers like you and me. And trust me, it feels illegal to drink this after you feel the effects. It's like having Assassin's Focus in real life. Right now, you can grab some free samples and go try the array of flavors they offer. If you use code GTG, you'll get 10% off your entire basket. Seriously, give it a try and thank me later. But let's talk about the compatibility. Now, with a release date of 2024 to 2025, it's likely that Codename Red will be compatible with the current generation consoles. So if you're still rocking an Xbox One or a PS4, you might not be in luck. No information on whether Red will be available for PC has been released at this time. So when can we expect to see Codename Red hit the shelves? Well, to be honest, we don't know an exact release date, but we can make an educated guess. Mirage is set to release on the 12th of October 2023, and we know that Red will be released after this, giving us a window of 2024 to 2025. As of right now, everything is pointing to a 2024 release, because Ubisoft has over 10 different AC titles in the works right now, and if they want to keep on schedule, they're going to need to release a new title every year, give or take. Ubisoft is also in a pretty tough spot right now, with multiple delays of other titles and IPs, as well as a bunch of flops with new releases like Just Dance 2023, which was a financial disaster. So to say they need to keep AC fans happy is a little bit of an understatement. By this point in the video, you may be wondering why Codename Red has so much hype surrounding it. I mean, after all, it's just another AC game in the franchise, right? Well, that's not strictly true. Longtime fans of the game have wanted to see Assassin Ninjas after the Ezio trilogy concluded. Upon its conclusion, Ubisoft even went as far as to announce that they were going to continue the trilogy's theme with new characters and a new location, which led many fans to speculate that Japan would be the next location, alongside an Egyptian-themed game and a setting in WW1 or WW2. The Ezio trilogy came out over 10 years ago now, meaning that fans have been waiting for a Japanese-themed game for a decade. But what is interesting here is that in 2012, Alex Hutchinson, the at the time creative director for AC, said that all these locations would make for absolutely terrible AC games, despite the fact that they were the most hyped at the time. To put it into his own words, people on the internet suggest the most boring things. Fast forward a few years, and both Egypt and the World Wars have played a part in Assassin's Creed. World War I and II formed missions in both Unity and Syndicate. In Unity, it's only a few Hellic rifts, but in Syndicate, we got to play a full sequence that was really fun in my opinion. And Egypt had its own dedicated exploration and origins and has since become one of the most successful games in the entire franchise. Of course, this success was helped by the fact that Origins marked the new ground with the RPG format, but this doesn't take away from the fact that the game had one of the best settings that we've ever seen. So that just leaves one place on the list that hasn't yet been explored: Japan. Hutchinson was wrong about the first two locations, so there's a good chance that he'll be wrong about this one too. Now, at one point in time, Ubisoft did want to stay away from ninjas. The general consensus was that the term ninja had a bit of a stereotype in games, and they didn't want to become a part of this. There's also a massive difference between assassins and ninjas, and there was a concern that mixing the two would be disrespectful. Not every fan has been convinced by a Japanese setting either. Quite a few commentators have shared the concern that blending ninjas and assassins could be a terrible idea, and both discredit the history of Japan and the franchise as a whole. Others have suggested that the setting just wouldn't work for an AC game. For instance, ancient Japanese houses tended to be quite short, and if Ubisoft wanted to keep things historically accurate, they would have to create a map with small houses that would make parkour boring and potentially even obsolete. A few critics even stated that Ubisoft simply won't do any research, period, and create a game that completely mocks Japanese culture. But despite these criticisms, Code Red is happening, whether people think it's a bad location, a cliche, or boring, or pointless. The hype outweighs the critique by a long stretch, and this is easily the most anticipated title in the franchise to date. I mean, let's be honest, people are more excited about Red than they are about Mirage, which is releasing in just a few months. Ultimately, Assassin's Creed Codename Red is finally going to get what fans have been hoping for over a decade now. The Japanese setting looks absolutely insane and completely different from anything else we've experienced in an Assassin's Creed game. Sure, there's a fair bit of criticism around this one, but as long as Ubisoft does its research and remains historically accurate, we should be in for a real treat with Red. But that's enough from us. We'd love to get your thoughts on this project in the comments section below. Are you a fan of this idea, or do you think it's overhyped? And are you a believer in the rumors that Red will be the last RPG of the franchise? Oh, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our recent video on the crucial details you must know about Assassin's Creed Mirage.